Okay, to simplify these complex fractions, I'm going to identify the main fraction bar first. So a complex fraction is a fraction over another fraction, but it's important that you maintain and keep the numerator and the denominator separate from one another until you're ready to put them together. And I'll show you how to do that in a few moments. So the first thing I want to do is deal with the numerator on this problem and simplify it as much as I can. So I'm going to add it. When I add fractions, everything has to be a fraction, so I'm putting a 1 under the 3 plus 7 over 4x. I'm going to multiply the denominator. 1 times 4x is 4x. Cross multiply the numerator. 3 times 4x is 12x. I had a plus in the middle, and 7 times 1 is 7. So the numerator is now simplified, 12x plus 7. I will go ahead and put the binomial in parentheses. Now I'm going to do the denominator. 1 over 1 minus 1 over 8x. Okay, multiply the bottom. 1 times 8x is 8x. Cross multiply the top. 1 times 8x is 8x. A minus in the middle. And then 1 times 1 is 1. Put that in parentheses. Now remember, these were originally in a fraction, so I'm going to put the fraction bar. Now, anything that's outside goes on the top. And anything that is inside, oops, go ahead and put that on the top. So I have a 12x plus 7 on the top, and not in parentheses, and 8x. Anything that's on the inside goes on the bottom. So I have a 4x and an 8x minus 1. Okay, any families in parentheses that are the exact same thing, you can cancel them out. But 12x plus 7 and 8x minus 1 are not the same. So we have to leave everything in the parentheses alone. Anything on the top that is on the bottom can cancel. The x can cancel because I have an x on the top and an x on the bottom. Again, do not cancel out these other two x's because they're in parentheses. You cannot touch anything in parentheses unless you can factor them first. I can deal with this. I do know that 8 divided by 4 is 2. So whatever is not canceled out is my answer. That 2, I'm going to move it to the front. So I have on the top, I have a 2 and a family of 12x plus 7. On the bottom, I just have a family of 8x minus 1, and that's the answer. So, taking the numerator and figuring it out all the way. I'm going to run out of room, so I'll move this 1 over later. So 1 over 25 minus 1 over x squared. Multiply the bottom. So x squared times 25 is 25x squared. Cross multiply the top. 1 times x squared is x squared, minus in the middle. 1 times 25 is 25. Now that actually is a difference of 2 squares, so that can go again. To factor a difference of 2 squares, I have x plus 5 times x minus 5. And if you need a refresher on how to do that, I do have a different video called Factoring the Difference of 2 Squares. On the bottom, I still have my 25x squared. Now everything's taken down as far as it can go. So now I deal with the denominator. 1/5 plus 1 over x. Multiply the bottom. 5 times x is 5x. Cross multiply the top. 1 times x is x. Plus sign in the middle. 1 times 5 is 5. Binomial goes in parentheses. So that is what comes underneath the original one. x plus 5 over 5x. So now, everything on the outside goes on the top. So I have a family of x plus 5, a family of x minus 5, and a 5x. Everything on the inside goes on the bottom. So I have a 25x squared, and I have a family of x plus 5. So my families, x plus 5 cancels. Top and bottom cancel if it's the same thing. Now, x squared, I can rewrite that to say x times x. So this x cancels with one of these. And then the number 5 and 25. Well, I can divide both of those by 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. Okay, so in my numerator, that 1 you do not need, it's optional. So technically in the numerator, all we have left is a family of x minus 5. You can put the 1 out front if you want, but it's optional. In the denominator, we have a 5 and an x. Gotta check and make sure you've got everything. Okay, so that's the answer. I've moved to the next one down. So you do numerator first. So 3 over 25 minus 3 over 5x. Okay, multiply at the bottom. 25 times 5x is 125x. Cross multiply the top. 3 times 5x is 15x. There is a minus in the middle. And 3 times 25 is 75. Now for that binomial, I can take a 5 out. Actually, you know what? You want to always take the biggest number out, and I can take a 15 out because 15 times 5 is 75. So let's factor a 15 out of that. So I have a 15 and an x. I took the 15 out, so that's an x. Minus sign. 75 divided by 15 is 5. The denominator is still 125x. Okay. So in the denominator over here, x over 25 minus 1 over x equals, multiply the bottom, 25 times x is 25x, cross multiply the top, x times x is x squared, minus in the middle, 1 times 25 is 25. That is, the binomial is a difference of 2 squares. So x squared minus 25 is x plus 5 times x minus 5. And you still have your 25x on the bottom. Okay, so that's my numerator and denominator. Now I get ready to put them together. So outside on the top, so I'm going to put the family last. So I've got a 15. Let's make some space and put the x minus 5 here. And then I've got a 25x. Sometimes that helps when you're canceling things out to see what's left over. That's on the top. On the bottom, I've got 125x. And I've got a family of x plus 5 and a family of x minus 5. Okay, the families, x minus 5's cancel. The x's cancel. Now, I'm not going to multiply this and then simplify because I know 25 goes into 125 5 times. So I'm going to divide both of them by 5. 25 divided by 5 is 1. 125 divided by 5 is 5. So that means in my numerator I have 15 times 1, which is 15. Don't have any families left there. In the denominator, I have a 5 and a family of x plus 5, and I didn't pay attention because this can be simplified. Let's divide the 15 and the 5. Let's divide them by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Again, if it's a 1, you don't need it. So I've got 3 over x plus 5 as the final answer for that problem.